more of a support role more than anything else.
Yeah, it's just tough. I was thinking about the Farsa, but the Farsa just doesn't really seem like the best choice to go for here. If Homeboys want to continue to play the way that they've been playing the last 2 matches, like they've been very sporadic in the team fights. It hasn't been clean front to backs.
Although to be fair, you did say you want to see more meta. I kind of feel like this is kind of more meta. It's just that
from Homeboys, yes.
It could get countered, but I kind of feel like going up against Onic Philippines, you just have to have that bravery. Just try it out. If it doesn't work game number 1, maybe they have plan B for game number 2.
Yeah. So maybe this is really them sticking to just what's familiar so they can focus more on the macro and just playing the game as a whole. But Onic PH wrap up the first phase of their draft with the Granger. I'm liking it so far since it doesn't reveal much just yet, and it leaves a bit of room to adjust since you already see the CC, which you mentioned was a great answer not just to the Fovios, but I feel to any other frontliner they want to put alongside the Fovios, especially in terms of diving in. So they'll have a bit more room to think of whether or not they want to go for that. Oh, but they've banned the Fanny and the Fredrin. Oh.
Honestly, with this Granger pick, I'm kind of worried because we got to talk about this story as well. The Golden Goat, Kelra, the Golden Standard going up against the ordinary marksman, Melcutie, where I would say in this tournament, he doesn't look too confident. And going up against Kelra on a pick like Granger, which is very lane dominant, it might put too much pressure to the point where Melcutie is really gonna feel stuck, gonna feel very much I would say suffocated to the point where he doesn't know what to do in the game.
I'm glad you brought that topic out because right now it does seem like that's what Onic Philippines are trying to play into. They picked up the Granger, and usually you would expect the Irithel ban, the Moskov ban, taking away these mobile heroes in the gold lane just to enable the Granger. But yeah, the Golden Standard is feeling himself. The ordinary marksman maybe a bit too ordinary for Onic Philippines now because they're saying, go ahead, pick up the counter matchup. We are confident that Kelra will still win that matchup either way, and they've gone for the Badang on Brusco too. They're now playing to what I was expecting from Onic Philippines from day number 1. Their strengths is the team fighting composition with massive sets.
They're picking the S-tier heroes,
So probably the Irithel is a given, but the jungler...
Maybe not.
Or
could be a Moskov still.
Yeah, could be Moskov,
Oh, they still pick the Joy despite the Badang and the Fovius. I mean, it does seem like there's little to no options left for Amal. There's the Hayabusa and other assassins, I guess, but this is, again, sticking to the meta, but speaking of...
Talk about picking their best heroes on game 1. I kind of feel like this is their mindset. They want to get a very good momentum going in and making sure that they have a very dominant game 1 so that not only does Onic Philippines have that confidence, but take away the little confidence that Homeboys has. So I kind of feel like for Homeboys, they have to make sure early and mid is good because I kind of feel like losing in the mid game really screws if you're hit. If you lose late game, it's kind of like, yeah, whatever, they're the best team. But either way, this is, I would say, a very good draft coming in from both teams. We can definitely see the win condition. It really is about executing it. So now I'm going to give it over to Mirko as well as Brigida to start this game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've been seeing a whole lot of different variants of Onic Philippines here in this tournament, MSC 2025 at the Esports World Cup. We've seen day 1 to day 4, crazy picks all around, but finally here for the qualifying matchup, they decide to go with what works best. It's Lo Yi, a signature pick on the man who immortalized himself in the game with this pick at the M6 World Championship. Only difference is it's been changed. Now you're visible. Welcome to Atlanta Dawn. Homeboys, can they deal with this?
And imagine these are also some of the picks which Super Friends introduced the entire idea of the Brave Smite emblems to as well. So we're seeing that as we bring up the emblem builds, a very tanky Lo Yi emblem build at that. So it's Tenacity, Brave Smite, and the same goes for Brusco. And it seems like they're banking on the idea of really spamming their skills as much as they can with that additional cooldown reduction that they have.
Could be the case with the Tenacity on both. Yeah, they might just be looking for... Oh, that was pretty early from Brusco. Okay. Yeah, an interesting sight to behold here early on. Master Assassin on the other side for Melcutie in the gold lane, really still playing towards the strength of the Moskov again, up against the Granger. Still feels the confidence, even though we've been talking about it. He hasn't really been able to perform at the level we expected him, especially after watching MPL Malaysia. Everybody else seems pretty normal, nothing too crazy.
Except for that early flicker, I guess,
Yeah.
that we really saw. But I probably it was just playing safe since he saw that Ivan was nearby, but King Kong tries to damage Vel just a bit since it might not be an easy task to actually go for the early pickup on the CC at this point. So I like how Homeboys are actually being very careful of where they decide to position themselves, and not just careful, with just the right amount of aggression at that. It seems like they really want to attempt and contest this first objective.
Yeah, mid-prio already. You can see the damage from Frizz. Vel not level 4 yet.
Oh.
Guess level 4 late. This should be free, but Amal walks up.
Okay, Infernal Pursuits coming in from Kirk, but so will the Flicker because the curtain call was already committed, but that's already enough time for King Kong to secure the objective, and Homeboys will just play safe. There's a diversion. Where could they go? So I mean, if this is the case, you'll always have to be careful if you're Homeboys, right?
Yeah. This is the thing, you know. Me and Midnight actually have spoken about a few things with the Lo Yi change. We thought that would make the Lo Yi obsolete in the meta, but the way that we saw Sans play it, that was the first time. That was the only time we've seen Lo Yi before this, by the way, guys, is Sans using it in a way where it just scares your opponents. He would just use the diversion to give vision to the opponents. Opponents see the Lo Yi diversioning and they're like, oh, where do we go? They're behind us. They overthink.
Oh, Ivan finds Brusco. They decide to burst him down. There's the Fist Crake already. Amal will have enough damage. They secure first blood in this game. So, yeah, when you mentioned that, I was worried about Homeboys and their capabilities of scouting out where Onic PH might be, checking the brushes and all that. But it seems like the call is just Izanami, or Ivan rather, committing the crowd control skills. If there's a target, then so be it. They have the tools to burst him down.
Now it's Izanami who walks up. Amal. Wow. Early Purify. Yeah. Onic Philippines are giving Homeboys so much respect in the early game. That flicker early from Brusco, now the instant Purify from Super Prince right as the skill 1 landed. And Kelra's doing a good job in lane right now. MelQT's got to be careful.
Yeah, the matchup and the laning phase might be quite the struggle here for MelQT, but what's important is really just holding on, being the Moskov here and doing other things across the map later on when needed from your team. But Homeboys, they're the ones holding the brush again. Get to find Brusco, targets him down. Better the airstrike already committed, but King Kong will be just right in time. But nonetheless, it's still Brusco who gets picked off first on the Badang.
Great punish. Homeboys are really just utilizing the pace of Onic Philippines and slowing it way down. They are holding angles instead of opening up the map because they know Onic are the ones who are going to do that. Kirk holding onto the turtle. It will just be a free one for King Kong. So yeah, Homeboys, it's all about reactions from them. They've just been reacting to the moves of Onic Philippines and punishing them. Diversion up top.
Oh, MelQT used the Spear of Misery, also has the Flicker, but the Phantom Execution, Thorn Rose will catch up, will keep himself safe under the turret, and Amal might just catch up to King Kong. Electrifying Beats already committed. Oh, the SOT also lands, and MelQT decides to go in, but then there's just the right timing coming in from Kirk, but he gets punished, brought under the turret, while he still gets to commit the Dark Wave and the Infernal Pursuits, but he's up against 4, and he won't be able to survive that.
And again, Homeboys have just read Onic Philippines out all the way from the early stages of the game. Yes, they haven't been able to get neutral objectives, but it goes to show how Onic Philippines have been the ones proactively moving around the map. They've been proactively getting the position around neutral objectives, so they get the advantage there. But when it comes to just pure setup in team fights, Homeboys have had Onic Philippines' number.
And it's not even being reactive in a bad way.
It's a good reaction,
It's a good reaction that we're seeing from Homeboys because they've been holding the brushes really well. I would expect the faster rotations to come in from them, but it seems like they're using that to their advantage in a different way to just outposition Onic PH and find the right timings to go in and surprise them. But there's another diversion. Ivan spots where they're planning to go though, so him and MelQT will be able to keep themselves safe, while Onic at this point, might be settling to work on the objectives for now.
Yeah. A lot of times teams just panic whenever they see Onic Philippines, make these crazy moves, play with the pace that we have known them to play with. But Homeboys, again, have just stayed calm and composed, and that's been what Onic Philippines have been struggling with. They just cannot seem to understand the tempo of Homeboys. They cannot seem to understand, like, why aren't Homeboys making mistakes when we're constantly rotating around the map, popping these diversions? So it comes down to the objective battle still, and when we're talking about that, it is still Onic Philippines who hold the lead. And it's a big bounty on Amal that Onic PH can claim. So comeback potential still on Onic and even the lead.
Although the goal lead hasn't been growing that much between these two teams, this might be an opening for Homebois to do just that. They are in full control of the turtle. Ivan too uses the conceal, but Brusco finds the target and somehow Kirk gets the last hit on the turtle. Now they're chasing after Homebois. There goes the Phantom Execution. King Kong finds the kill onto Bell, and Kelra gets access to Ive. Is it Namine? Oh, but Melcutie goes in!
With the SOD, Amal cleans them up. What a steal by Onic Philippines. Trying to adapt to this chess game that we've been having in Atlanta Dawn between Homebois and Onic Philippines. But right as they pull the trigger again, play aggressively, it's punished by Homebois. So this game has literally just been about waiting for overextensions and punishing. You see that from Onic Philippines, punishing Homebois for making the proactive play on Turtle, and then it's Onic with the chase and another punish from Homebois. That's what we've been seeing in the Atlanta Dawn. It's a punish battle, and I don't know who's winning. Because again, kills, Homebois, but everything else seemed to be Onic Philippines. So it's still a very even game.
And this is surprising to see for a team who you know is very well calculated in terms of their decisions. Onic Philippines are the ones constantly being punished. King Kong versus Amal won't be proceeding with the fight just yet, but the Fettered Airstrike is already committed. It gets cancelled by the Dark Wave, and look at the damage from Kelra. Seems like he's getting some stacks in already with that Ranger. And this might be the change in tempo that they need, because they're able to group up a bit more and just let King Kong do King Kong things on the Lancelot. I mean, the first few times he did use the Lancelot back then, it was always this kind of play. It's not just looking for the fights just yet. It's really working on other things and farming up until you feel confident enough to join the fight. Although that may not be entirely applicable for the Lancelot now.
And now they slow the game entirely. Onic Philippines, I think they understood, you know, what Homebois have been doing in the early game, just adapting to that fast pace. And Onic Philippines slowed down their own tempo by a whole lot, utilizing the diversions to play with that overthinky Brusco.
Oh, finds the target onto Melcutie. Kelra doesn't get enough damage, doesn't land the right amount of bullets just yet though. Okay, somehow this is a good standing for Melcutie and a really good situation for him. 2-0-2 on that Moskov.
Yep, really good stuff. Ivan walks up, Tsunami Slam!
He decides to commit it onto Kirk, who still has the flicker to somehow get out. Curtain Call already committed by Vel as well. So those are 2 ultimates already used. Actually, maybe 3 even, because Izanami doesn't have his Feathered Airstrike as well.
Big resources burnt out. Onic Philippines with a slowdown on the tempo. That could have been the read. Kirk jumps in again.
Oh, Ivan trying to look for the knockup, and he finds it. King Kong, though, keeps himself alive long enough to also find the kill. SOD will not land onto anyone, and Onic secures the objective. And there goes the shutdown kill onto Amal.
Recall.
They get damaged by Feathered Airstrike, but will they catch up to Melcutie? No!
Wow. Well played, Mel. That was a really good spot to recall. Just a pixel away from being outside of the bush. Really played around with those small little margins to get away. Onic Philippines, though, again, have slowed the game down to a point where they are comfortable. They've gone back to their previous style of when teams don't panic up against them, which is, I think this is like an old M3 style Onic Philippines stats. It's a banana split. They've just been constantly splitting up the map, playing it slowly, utilizing the diversion to get back into contention of the big neutral objectives. And that's what the big lead is all about now for Onic Philippines. It's about getting structures and objectives. Kills still behind, another diversion to get them closer to the big objective that they want to get, which is definitely that base turret up top as they siege down. And Kelra, he's only had one Sky Piercer, but one big fight could change everything.
Yep. It's nice to see Onic adapting to the on the fly, introducing those very familiar play styles too, which definitely are working for them here in this kind of situation. They've got some of the most crucial kills, the shutdown gold on Amal as well, and if the gold lead was very small up until the, I'd say, 7 or 8 minute mark of this game, now it's ballooned to 5k in their hands. So it's looking to be a very difficult situation for Homebois, but at least they have the tools to defend. They have the Farsa and the Moskov to somehow deal with the waves that are coming in. But now Onic PH, they might find, or they might seem a lot more confident to just go in with those surprise setups from Brusco if he finds another key target similar to how he has done it earlier.
But that's the point now for Onic Philippines, right? Early game, they were still reaching for a lead. That's why you saw, again, that fast-paced combo from Onic, constantly looking for something around the map. I will Tsunami Slam, but that's what the Purify is for.
Yeah.
Great reaction again. Back to the point, Onic don't need to look for those surprises anymore. They can constantly throw feints like this, diversions to open up the map, but the early game where there was a lot of desperate moves from Onic Philippines won't be seen here because they already have a 5,600 gold lead and they'll just play for the next neutral objective.
Blade Armor already picked up by Kirk as well. So Onic PH definitely at this point have a lot more ways to deal with the surprises that can come in from Homebois too if ever they're the ones who want to do that, because Ivan has been very consistent in looking for targets and looking for those setups. Even just by looking at Kelra and Malcutie. Kelra just needs one more item to complete his build on this Ranger. Oh, and King Kong might just find a kill down bottom. He's looking for the kill on Bell. SOD will land, but they might not commit this anymore unless Ivan wants to actually go for it. Doesn't find the knock-up onto King Kong. Somehow gets to immune himself though. But then Malcutie, he gets stunned by Kurt, so he won't be able to supply the damage. And that's 3 kills already for Onic, making it 4 because Kelra, he finds a triple.
A forced engage from Homebois. Very unnecessary and very weird to say because in this game it's been a calm and composed Homebois. They suddenly make a desperate play and it might cost them the game. 1 second on Vel. 2 base turrets will fall. Onic again. They want to end.
The damage from King Kong doesn't even allow the feathered airstrike to be